The hum of the control room was steady, almost hypnotic, as monitors flickered with streams of data. Deep space was silent, vast, and lonely, but it held secrets that humans had yet to uncover. Captain Arya Kane stood at the center of the room, her eyes fixed on a small, blinking icon on the main console. Something was wrong, or perhaps something impossible had just happened. "Captain," said Lieutenant Mara Chen, her voice tense, "you might want to see this." Arya moved closer. The console displayed a signal pattern unlike anything recorded in the last 3 centuries. A distress signal. From a ship that had vanished 300 years ago? The Horizon? Arya whispered, hardly daring to speak the words. The name had echoed through human history books and stories for centuries. The SS Horizon had been one of the first deep space colonization ships. It had left Earth in 2225, heading for the outer colonies, and had never been heard from again. Hundreds of missions had tried to locate it, but all had failed. It was supposed to be lost forever. Dr. Elias Vorn, a historian who specialized in early space exploration, leaned over the console. His usually calm face was pale, eyes wide behind his glasses. This cannot be real. The Horizon was lost before my ancestors were even born." Arya's mind raced. The signal was authentic. Its energy signature matched the historical records perfectly. The pattern was faint, but unmistakable. Whoever or whatever was sending it. It was coming from the coordinates recorded in the old logs of the Horizon's last known location. "Impossible," Elias muttered. "A ship lost for 300 years cannot send a new distress signal." Arya's jaw tightened. Impossible or not, the signal was there, and the call for help was unmistakable. Humanity had long abandoned hope of ever hearing from the Horizon, but now it had come back. Perhaps this was the chance to finally uncover the greatest mystery of human space exploration. "Prepare the Valkyrie," Arya said firmly. The Valkyrie was their fastest exploration vessel, designed for deep space missions where anything could happen. "We're going after it. This may be the impossible, but humans have never shied away from the impossible." Mara nodded, fingers flying across the console. Course plotted. "We can reach the signal in 10 standard days, Captain. But the route passes through the Rhenus cluster. Asteroid fields, rogue comets. It's dangerous." Arya glanced at the holographic star map. The Rhenus cluster was notorious. Ships that entered it without caution rarely returned. But she did not flinch. "Danger is part of exploration," she said. "We'll take every precaution, but we are going." Dr. Vorn adjusted his glasses, still staring at the console. "I must warn you, Captain, this mission is unlike any other. Not only is the Horizon ancient, but the technology it carries. Some of it may be beyond our understanding. They were pioneers in experimental propulsion and stasis technology. If the ship is intact, it could be more advanced than anything we've seen in centuries." Arya smiled slightly, a mix of excitement and determination. "Then it is all the more reason to find it. Humans explore, we learn, and we survive. That is our way." The crew worked quickly. Systems were checked, supplies loaded, and every precaution taken. The Valkyrie's engines roared to life, shaking the hangar as the ship lifted off. Arya stood on the bridge, hands resting lightly on the console. "Feeling the thrill of a mission that could change human history?" "Captain," said Lyra. The ship's AI, her voice calm but precise. "The distress signal is fluctuating. It may not be a constant source. I recommend we accelerate our departure." "Agreed," Arya said. "Plot the fastest safe course through the cluster." As the Valkyrie left the station, Arya looked back at the tiny blue dot of human civilization, feeling the weight of responsibility on her shoulders. She knew that whatever lay ahead, it would test every skill, every decision, and every ounce of courage she and her crew possessed. The first 2 days of travel were quiet. The crew monitored the systems, reviewed historical records of the Horizon, and prepared for the unknown. Dr. Vorn spent hours showing Arya and Mara the old ship logs, diagrams of its stasis pods, propulsion system, and experimental communications array. "It's remarkable," Elias said one evening as the three looked at a holographic display of the Horizon. "They attempted technologies that even modern engineers would consider dangerous. Faster-than-light travel experiments, long-duration stasis, automated navigation. It's no wonder the ship disappeared. It was too ambitious for its time. Arya leaned forward, fingers tracing the holographic lines. And yet, if the signal is real, it survived. Some part of it is still active, or someone, Dr. Vorn corrected. The ship may have been preserved. Artificially. If they had a self-maintaining AI, it could have kept the systems running while the crew rested. It's the only explanation for a distress call appearing 3 centuries later. Lyra's voice interrupted their discussion. Captain, the signal intensity is increasing. We are nearing the coordinates. Sensors detect gravitational anomalies in the vicinity, unusual, and concentrated. Arya felt a shiver of anticipation. Prepare all scanning equipment. This could be something we've never encountered before. As the Valkyrie approached the coordinates, the space around them seemed different. Stars appeared slightly bent, light distorted, and the instruments began to flicker. Even Lyra noted the anomalies with slight hesitation. Captain, these readings do not correspond to any known natural phenomena, Lyra said. I recommend extreme caution. Arya nodded. Agreed. Maintain orbit at a safe distance while we scan. What they saw first was nothing. Empty space stretched before them, dark and infinite. The sensors were picking up faint energy signatures, but visually, the horizon remained invisible. Dr. Vorn frowned. This cannot be. If the ship is here, why can we not see it? Arya studied the readings. It's as if it's hidden, maybe cloaked, or perhaps trapped in some field that bends light. The crew worked tirelessly to decode the energy signals. Lyra managed to reconstruct fragments, creating a faint outline of the horizon. The ship was there, floating silently, its hull unmarked by time or decay. Arya's heart raced. Impossible. It's perfect. 300 years. And it's intact. Dr. Vorn swallowed hard. And yet, there's no crew. At least none that the sensors can detect. If the ship is operational, why is it empty? Lyra interrupted again. Captain, there are signs of life support systems functioning. Oxygen levels, temperature, even minimal power consumption. Someone or something is maintaining them. Arya's mind spun with possibilities. A temporal field? Stasis. Something the old engineers built that we can barely understand. The crew exchanged glances. Each knew the truth. They were about to confront something humanity had only dreamed of in myths and old records. The horizon had survived where countless ships had failed, and now it had called out across centuries, asking for help. Arya's voice was steady but full of awe. Prepare the boarding party. Whatever is out there, we are going in. Human curiosity, human courage, human ingenuity brought us this far. It will see us through this too. As the Valkyrie moved closer, the signal pulsed stronger. The faint outline of the horizon shimmered, as if revealing itself slowly to the explorers. The impossible was real, and it awaited them, for the first time in centuries. Humanity had a chance to reach the lost pioneers of the deep frontier, and Captain Arya Kane intended to make that chance count. The hum of the Valkyrie's engines was steady. And in that quiet, the crew felt the tension of history pressing down on them. They were not just explorers. They were witnesses to a miracle of human persistence, and far beyond the stars. The horizon waited, silent, patient, and ready to reveal its impossible secret. The Valkyrie glided through the silent expanse of deep space, its sleek hull reflecting the distant light of dying stars. Captain Arya Kane stood on the bridge, her eyes locked on the screens before her. The horizon lay ahead, a ghostly shape almost invisible against the dark void. But reaching it was not going to be simple. The path led through the Renus cluster, a tangled field of asteroids and drifting debris. Remnants of collisions that had occurred over millennia. Captain, said Lieutenant Mara Chen, her fingers flying across the navigation console. Sensors indicate a dense asteroid belt ahead. Adjusting course slightly will reduce the risk, but it will add hours to our journey. Arya studied the holographic map, seeing the web of rocks and debris stretching before them. Every route carried danger, but there was only one way forward. We will take the longer path. Safety first. We cannot afford a collision with the horizon still unknown. Dr. Elias Vorn leaned against a console, tracing the paths of the asteroids with his finger. "It's strange," he said quietly. "This area of space should have settled long ago. But these formations, they appear almost deliberate, like something shaped them." Lyra's voice interrupted, calm and measured. "Captain, unusual gravitational readings correspond with the anomalies Dr. Vorn describes. There is a high probability that these forces are linked to the horizon's location." Arya frowned. "So the ship itself may be influencing space around it?" "That is a possibility," Lyra replied. "It may be generating a field that alters gravitational patterns, either intentionally or as a side effect of its systems." The crew fell silent, contemplating the implications. A ship from 300 years ago, not only still functional, but capable of creating distortions in space itself. Humanity had always believed it had explored the limits of survival in deep space, but the horizon promised there were greater mysteries still. For the next several days, the Valkyrie navigated carefully through the Renus cluster. Asteroids the size of small cities drifted lazily, while smaller fragments zipped past at dangerous speeds. The crew worked tirelessly, adjusting shields, thrusters, and navigation algorithms. Even Lyra's predictive systems were pushed to their limits. During one quiet night cycle, Dr. Vorn approached Arya. "Captain, I have been reviewing historical logs about the horizon. It carried a crew of nearly 100, including engineers, scientists, and colonists. They were pioneers, chosen for their courage and skill." Arya nodded, and none of them returned. "Until now?" Vorn's eyes reflected a mix of awe and sorrow. "Yes, and they may still be out there, waiting." As the Valkyrie pressed deeper into the cluster, the signal grew stronger, pulsating rhythmically across the centuries. Lyra interpreted the patterns, attempting to decode their meaning, Captain. She said these signals contain fragments of data. Old star maps, coordinates, and logs. It appears the horizon is sending information intentionally, but the messages are incomplete, as if something or someone is trying to communicate across time itself. Arya leaned forward. "Show me the fragments." The screen flickered with lines of data. Arya studied them carefully. Star charts of regions humanity had long forgotten. Warnings of gravitational turbulence. Notes about the crew's condition and the ship's experimental systems. "This is incredible," Dr. Vorn whispered. "They were documenting everything. In case someone came after them, even centuries later, they are leaving messages for us." The reality of it sank in. The horizon had survived the impossible, and now it was reaching out, guiding humanity toward it. It was more than a ship. It was a beacon of human determination, proof that humans could endure even the longest, most hopeless journeys. Suddenly, the sensors picked up movement. Small metallic fragments spun unnaturally through space. They weren't asteroids. They were remnants of the horizon itself, for perhaps automated drones left behind to maintain the ship's safety. "Captain," Mara said, alarmed. "These fragments are moving against gravity. Something is controlling them." Arya's jaw tightened. "Stay alert. Whatever it is, it's part of the ship. We cannot underestimate it." The Valkyrie advanced cautiously. Lyra's voice broke the tension. "I am analyzing the fragments. They appear to be maintaining a protective perimeter. Any sudden approach may trigger defensive protocols." Arya nodded. "No sudden moves. Let's see if we can communicate first." The Valkyrie sent out a simple ping, a standard greeting signal. Moments passed in tense silence. Then, the horizon responded not with words, but with a pattern of pulses, synchronized to the original signal. Lyra interpreted the rhythm. It is responding, not with speech, but with instructions. It's guiding us through the cluster. The crew exchanged amazed glances. A ship lost for centuries, and yet it still cared enough to guide humans safely to its side. This was the essence of human ingenuity and persistence, even in absence. The creators of the Horizon had left behind a system capable of ensuring their story could continue. Over the next several days, the Valkyrie followed the signal's guidance. Each turn, each adjustment, brought them closer to the invisible ship. The path was treacherous, and several close calls reminded the crew that deep space was unforgiving. A sudden shift of a massive asteroid could have crushed them, but the pulses from the horizon always led them safely through. During one of these tense moments, Dr. Vorn spoke quietly to Arya. "Captain, have you considered what might be waiting for us inside? The ship's systems are advanced, but the crew, they could have survived, in stasis perhaps. Or," his voice trailed off, uncertain, or, Arya prompted, "or something else," he said. "The Horizon has been out of contact for 300 years. We don't know what changes time may have caused, even to its AI or automated systems. There could be dangers we cannot predict." Arya considered his words, gripping the console. Human history is full of unknowns. That's what makes exploration worth it. Whatever is on that ship, we will face it together. Finally, after days of careful navigation, the gravitational anomalies reached their peak. Space itself seemed to ripple around them, the light of distant stars bending unnaturally. The Horizon's energy signature was at its strongest, yet visually, the ship remained absent. "Lyra," Daria said, "what do you make of this? Why can't we see it yet?" Lyra analyzed the readings. The Horizon appears to be in a state of temporal isolation. Its mass and energy are present, but the visual spectrum is shifted. It is partially phased, not fully in our dimension. Arya swallowed hard. A temporal loop? Stasis field. Something beyond our comprehension. "It seems so," Lyra confirmed. "Approach cautiously. Any sudden interaction could destabilize the field." The crew fell silent, the tension in the bridge almost unbearable. After 3 centuries, they were finally at the edge of the impossible. Every instinct told them to be careful, but every bit of human curiosity urged them forward. Arya spoke softly, more to herself than anyone else. Humanity has always faced the impossible and overcome it. This is no different. Slowly, the Valkyrie inched closer. The ship's outline began to shimmer faintly, light bending around it like water. It was there. The Horizon, impossible yet real, waiting silently in the void. "Captain," Mara said, her voice hushed, "we're close enough for preliminary scans." Arya nodded. "Do it. Every detail, every system. We need to know what we're dealing with before we board." Scans revealed a perfectly preserved hull. Centuries had left no mark. Energy readings indicated life support systems were functional. Automated systems were active, but no human presence was detected. The ship was alive, yet empty. Dr. Vorn's eyes filled with awe. This is history itself. We are about to step aboard a ship that time forgot. Arya felt a thrill unlike any she had known. Get ready. Whatever waits inside, we will face it together. Humans survive impossible odds, and this will be no different. The Valkyrie hovered near the phased silhouette, lights reflecting softly across its smooth hull. The crew prepared for boarding, unaware of what mysteries and dangers lay inside, far beyond the stars. The Horizon waited, silent, patient, and ready to reveal its impossible story to those brave enough to face it. The Valkyrie hovered silently beside the Horizon, its sleek metal hull contrasting with the ghostly shimmer of the centuries-old vessel. Captain Arya Kane's heart pounded in her chest. After days of careful navigation and decoding cryptic signals, they had finally reached the legendary ship. And now it awaited them, a relic of human courage, innovation, and perhaps desperation. "Preparations complete, Captain," Lieutenant Marichen reported. Her hands hovered over the console, ready to guide the boarding protocols. "Airlock is aligned. All safety checks passed. We can board whenever you give the word." Arya nodded. "Let's proceed carefully. This ship has survived 300 years. We don't want to be the ones to change that accidentally." The crew of the Valkyrie suited up. sealing themselves into sleek exploration suits equipped with personal life support, communication modules, and data interfaces. The small docking shuttle detached from the Valkyrie, moving slowly toward the horizon. Every inch felt heavy with anticipation. Dr. Elias Vorn adjusted his glasses nervously. I never imagined I would see this day. The horizon. In perfect condition, its history in motion. Arya's voice was steady, but filled with awe. History, yes. But we are also about to discover something the historians never could. What really happened on this ship? The docking clamp engaged with a soft hiss. The airlock slowly cycled open, revealing the interior of the horizon. The shuttle lights cut through the darkness, and the crew stepped inside. The first thing that struck them was the silence. Not the kind of silence that comes from emptiness, but a deliberate, controlled quiet. Lights flickered gently along the corridors. Systems hummed softly, a rhythm of energy that seemed alive. Yet no human presence could be detected. It's operational, Dr. Vorn whispered. After 3 centuries, it's still alive. Arya's eyes scanned the hallway. Panels displayed faint, automated readouts, still providing navigational information. Life support status and environmental controls. Lyra, she said, compare these readings to our historical database. Tell me if anything seems unusual. A calm, precise voice replied. Captain, the Horizon systems are active beyond expectations. Life support, propulsion systems, and energy distribution remain functional. Several automated modules are operating without human intervention. Some subroutines appear experimental, unlike any technology used in human ships for the past 3 centuries. Mara frowned. Experimental? You mean dangerous? Lyra paused. Not necessarily dangerous, but advanced. If the systems fail or are tampered with, they could destabilize the ship's internal functions. Extreme caution is recommended. Arya nodded. Understood? Move carefully and stay in contact. Dr. Vorn, Mara, stick close. The 3 moved deeper into the vessel, their footsteps echoing softly against the polished metal floors. Every corner they turned revealed more evidence of meticulous care and engineering brilliance. The ship seemed to be aware of them, not hostile, but as if it had waited centuries for someone worthy of entering in the command center. Panels displayed star charts, spanning systems that had been unknown in Arya's time. Some coordinates were marked with warning symbols. Others with notes in an old-style human language. Captain, Dr. Vorn said, tracing the lines on a holographic display. These messages, they are logs. Notes from the crew. They left instructions for anyone who might find this ship. They were documenting everything: voyages, experiments, even personal observations. Arya felt a chill. They were preparing for someone to come. Even after 300 years, they wanted to be found. As they explored further, strange phenomena became apparent. Light refracted strangely in some corridors, almost as if reality itself was slightly bent. Shadows moved with a delay, and the air felt dense in certain sections. Lyra analyzed the readings. Captain, the ship appears to be partially phased in a temporal field. This explains the previous invisibility. The ship exists slightly out of phase with standard space-time. Any interaction must be cautious, or we risk destabilizing the field. Temporal field. Mara muttered. You mean time itself is different here? Yes, Lyra confirmed. The horizon may have been caught in a loop or stasis, effectively skipping centuries while preserving its systems and environment. Dr. Vorn shook his head in disbelief. 300 years. Trapped in time and yet alive. The crew. Could they be? Arya raised a hand. Let's find out. Following Lyra's guidance, they entered the stasis bay. Rows of pods lined the chamber, each softly glowing, filled with the sleeping figures of the crew. Hundreds of pioneers preserved perfectly, their faces serene, undisturbed by the centuries that had passed. Dr. Vorn gasped. It's remarkable. They are alive. But waiting. Arya approached the nearest pod. A control panel blinked softly. The pod had maintained the occupants' vital signs for centuries, powered entirely by the ship's systems. It was a testament to human ingenuity, designs, and experiments centuries ahead of their time. "Lyra," Maria said, "can we safely awaken one?" "Captain," the AI replied, "it is possible. The systems are stable. However, disruption of the temporal field or miscalculation could endanger the occupant. Extreme caution is required." Arya considered for a moment, then nodded. "We have to try. Humanity deserves to see what survived the impossible." Working carefully, Mara initiated the awakening sequence. Lights on the pod brightened as life support flowed fully. Slowly, the occupant stirred, eyes opening for the first time in 3 centuries. The pioneer blinked, confusion and wonder mixing in their gaze. "Where am I?" the voice asked, weak but alive. "You are safe," Arya said softly, keeping her tone calm. "I am Captain Arya Kane. We are explorers from humanity's current time. The horizon has been found." The pioneer's eyes widened. "Impossible. 300 years, how?" Dr. Vorn stepped forward, emotion in his voice. "Time passed differently here. You were preserved. Humanity never forgot you. We came to bring you home." As the awakening continued, more crew members stirred. Slowly, the stasis bay filled with pioneers, blinking in wonder at the world beyond the ship. Some murmured in surprise. Some asked questions that could not be answered immediately. The Valkyrie crew watched, awestruck. They had not only found the impossible ship, but also its people, alive against all odds. This was humanity at its finest: curiosity, courage, and care, bringing centuries-old explorers safely into the present. Yet, as the last pods opened, an unexpected complication arose. The temporal field surrounding the ship began to fluctuate. Lights flickered. Energy readings spiked. The horizon shivered as if alive, warning them that its delicate balance was under threat. Captain Lyra warned, "The temporal field is destabilizing. Human presence, combined with the awakening of the crew, is causing strain. Immediate measures are required to prevent collapse." Arya's jaw tightened. "We knew there would be risk. Prepare stabilization protocols. Focus energy on the temporal generators. Keep the crew safe." Mara worked with precision. Following Lyra's guidance, Dr. Vorn assisted, monitoring historical systems and adjusting flows based on the original crew's notes for tense minutes. The ship trembled, systems humming louder than ever. The pioneers watched, silent and trusting. And then, slowly, the field stabilized. The lights normalized, and energy readings returned to safe levels. The horizon was stable again. Arya exhaled, relief washing over her. "We did it. Humanity survived the impossible." Again, Dr. Vorn looked around the stasis bay, awe in his eyes. This is a triumph. 3 centuries of human hope, ingenuity, and courage. Preserved perfectly. The pioneers began to understand their surroundings, slowly recognizing the Valkyrie crew as fellow humans, explorers from a future they could barely imagine. Arya felt a surge of pride. Humanity had always faced the impossible and survived. The horizon was more than a ship. It was proof that no challenge, no matter how great, could extinguish the human spirit. Lyra spoke, calm and precise. "Captain, preliminary scans suggest no damage to critical systems. The horizon can be returned to human-controlled space safely, if we proceed carefully." Arya nodded. "Then that's our mission. We've found the impossible. Now we bring it home." As the crew prepared for departure, the Valkyrie and the horizon floated side by side in the dark void, a testament to human resilience and ingenuity. 300 years of isolation had not broken the ship or its people. And now, together, it would return to a humanity that had waited patiently across the centuries. The impossible was real, and humanity had reached it. The horizon hummed softly, its systems alive and steady after the tense stabilization of the temporal field. Captain Arya Kane stood in the bridge, eyes fixed on the controls. While the Valkyrie's crew worked alongside the newly awakened pioneers, Together, we prepared the ship for its journey back to human-controlled space. We've stabilized the temporal generators, Lieutenant Mara Chen reported. Energy readings are normal. Life support is fully functional. The horizon is ready to move. Nadia nodded, but her eyes were thoughtful. Ready to move? Yes, but are we truly ready? This ship survived 3 centuries of isolation. We must ensure it survives the transition back to regular spacetime. No mistakes. Dr. Elias Vorn approached her, his voice steady but filled with awe. Captain, these systems, even with our help, they are delicate. The original crew designed them to function perfectly, but any change could be catastrophic. It is a marvel that the ship even operates at all. Lyra's calm voice filled the bridge. Captain, I have completed an analysis of the Horizon's propulsion and energy systems. With careful coordination, we can guide the ship back safely. The process will require precise timing and cooperation between both crews. Arya glanced at the pioneers, who were now moving freely in the corridors. Still adjusting to the world 3 centuries ahead of their own, their expressions reflected wonder, caution, and trust. They had survived impossible odds, and now humanity's present was offering them a chance to continue. All right, Arya said firmly. We do this together. The Valkyrie crew and the Horizon crew. Every action must be calculated. We can't afford a misstep. The teams divided into groups. Mara coordinated the ship's thrusters, carefully balancing old and modern propulsion systems. Dr. Vorn worked on diagnostics, interpreting centuries-old systems to ensure they harmonized with Lyra's calculations. Arya remained on the bridge, overseeing every move, ready to intervene if anything went wrong. The first challenge came quickly. As they synchronized the ship's main engines with the Valkyrie's guidance systems, a sudden surge of energy jolted the hull. Panels flickered, lights dimmed, and the hum of the ship grew uneven. Report. Arya barked. Lyra responded instantly. Surge detected in the temporal generators. It appears the field is sensitive to acceleration. Maximum caution is required. Any abrupt changes could destabilize the ship entirely. Dr. Vorn muttered. 3 centuries. And we are asking it to move for the first time in that long. No wonder it's reacting. Arya took a deep breath. We do this slowly. No sudden moves. Mara adjusts the thrusters gradually. Lyra, guide us with precision. The crew worked in careful harmony. Hours passed as they moved the ship millimeter by millimeter, testing each system and monitoring energy flows. Every small adjustment was a balance of science, skill, and courage. During a brief pause, Dr. Vorn approached Arya quietly. Captain, it is incredible, this ship. It is a reminder of humanity's determination. Even lost, even forgotten, our pioneers built something to last. They expected someone to come for them. That foresight. It is inspiring, Arya nodded, her eyes scanning the instruments. It's a testament to us all. Humanity survives impossible odds, and we do not give up even when the path is uncertain. Finally, the Horizon responded. Its engines aligned with the Valkyrie's guidance system, and the ship began to move, slowly at first, then steadily. The temporal field adjusted, stabilizing around the vessel as it phased back fully into the present dimension. Steady, Mara said, relief evident in her voice. Engines stable. Field normalized. We are clear, Arya exhaled, allowing herself a brief moment of satisfaction. Good work, everyone. But this isn't over yet. We still need to guide them home. As the journey continued, the Valkyrie and the Horizon moved in tandem, passing through regions of space filled with gravitational anomalies, asteroid fields, and remnants of long-forgotten stars. The challenges tested every crew member's skill. The pioneers, despite centuries of slumber, quickly adapted. Their knowledge of the ship's systems proving invaluable, Dr. Vorn marveled at their abilities. Even after 3 centuries, they remember every system, every protocol. This knowledge, it is living history. The first major obstacle appeared near a cluster of rogue comets. The field of icy bodies moved unpredictably, threatening the path of the ship. Arya's eyes narrowed. Mara, guide us through. Dr. Vorn, monitor the temporal field. Lyra, help anticipate the comet paths. We cannot stop now. The precise coordination, the Valkyrie, and the Horizon navigated the comet field. Thrusters adjusted constantly. Shields pulsed to deflect stray fragments, and the crews worked in perfect synchrony. Every successful maneuver strengthened their confidence. Humanity was proving once again that it could overcome impossible odds. Hours later, as the ships cleared the final obstacle, a sudden alarm rang through the horizon. Panels flashed red. Captain. Lyra's voice sounded urgent. Secondary reactor pressure is rising. If it overloads, it could damage critical systems. Dr. Vorn leaned over a control panel. This system was experimental, even in its time. We need to vent pressure gradually, or the ship could suffer catastrophic failure. Arya's mind worked quickly. Mara, reroute power from non-essential systems. Lyra, calculate venting sequence. Pioneers assist Dr. Vorn. Every second counts. For tense minutes, the crew worked in harmony. The reactor hissed and vibrated, threatening disaster at any moment. Yet human ingenuity, careful planning, and teamwork prevailed. Slowly, the pressure normalized, and the ship's systems returned to stability. A cheer went up, though subdued, for fear of jinxing the delicate balance. Arya allowed herself a small smile. Good work. Humanity has faced impossible odds before, and we have done it again. The pioneers, still adjusting to the modern world around them, began sharing stories of their long voyage, experiments they conducted, and lessons learned during their centuries in stasis. Each story was a reminder of humanity's determination, courage, and curiosity. Dr. Vorn listened, tears in his eyes. This is more than history. It's a testament to the spirit that allowed them to survive and guide us to this day. Lyra spoke softly. Captain, all systems stable. We are approaching safe, human-controlled space. No further anomalies detected, Arya exhaled. Then we are almost home. Humanity's past meets its present, and together we will continue into the future. As they neared human-controlled space, Arya looked at the horizon and its crew. They had survived centuries of isolation, guided only by hope and the design of brilliant pioneers. Now they would be part of a civilization that had grown far beyond what they had imagined. Mara spoke quietly. Captain, look at them. They are still human, but they carry the legacy of centuries. Their survival. It's inspiring. Arya nodded. It is, and we must honor that legacy. Humanity will always face the unknown, but with courage, intelligence, and cooperation, we will overcome any challenge. The horizon reminds us of that. Finally, the first familiar planets and stations of human-controlled space appeared on the horizon. Lights twinkled in the distance, welcoming the lost pioneers back to the civilization they had helped shape in spirit. If not in time, prepare for docking, Arya commanded. We bring the impossible home. As the Horizon and Valkyrie descended toward the stations, Arya felt a profound sense of pride. Humanity had reached across centuries, answered a call that was thought lost to time, and preserved life against impossible odds. Lyra's voice broke the silence. Captain, this mission demonstrates the resilience and ingenuity of humanity. It is exceptional. Arya allowed herself a small smile. Yes, Lyra, exceptional indeed. And this is just the beginning. Humanity will continue to explore, to learn, and to survive, no matter what lies ahead. The horizon touched down gently, systems shutting down in a controlled sequence as the docking clamps engaged. The pioneers disembarked, blinking in the light of the new era. Crowds gathered, eyes wide with wonder and admiration. The impossible ship, lost for 3 centuries, had returned, along with its crew. Arya watched, heart swelling with pride. Humanity had reached across time and space to rescue its own. The impossible was no longer impossible. It was a reminder of what humans could achieve, and as the stars stretched endlessly beyond, Arya knew that the journey of exploration courage and human ingenuity was far from over. The docking clamps hissed as the Horizon settled gently onto the station platform. For the first time in 3 centuries, the ship that had vanished into history now rested in human-controlled space. Captain Arya Kane stood on the bridge of the Valkyrie, watching as the pioneers disembarked, blinking in amazement at a civilization far beyond the one they had known. Crowds gathered, eyes wide with wonder and awe. Reporters, historians, and officials streamed toward the landing site, documenting the miraculous return. Ships and personnel moved carefully around the ancient vessel. But the energy of the moment was electric. Humanity had reached across. It's time to save its own. Dr. Elias Vorn followed closely behind Arya, tears glistening in his eyes. "Captain," he said quietly, "do you understand what this means? We've connected past and present. These people survived centuries of isolation, and now their knowledge, their courage, it can inspire all of humanity." Arya nodded, a small smile forming on her lips. "We didn't just find a ship. We found proof of human perseverance. The Horizon and its crew remind us that even the impossible can be overcome." The pioneers were guided through medical checks and debriefing rooms. Though preserved in stasis, their bodies had endured centuries thanks to the ship's advanced systems. Doctors marveled at their resilience, recording every detail for future study. One of the pioneers, a tall engineer named Leora, approached Arya and extended her hand. "Thank you," she said simply. "You brought us home. When we thought we would be forgotten," Arya shook her hand firmly. "No human is ever truly forgotten. And your survival proves that determination, knowledge, and courage can carry us across centuries. Welcome back." As the pioneers adjusted to the present, Arya and her crew focused on the Horizon. Engineers from the stations worked alongside the Valkyrie's crew to integrate the ship's systems with modern navigation, life support, and communication technologies. The process was delicate. Centuries of isolation had preserved the ship, but it also required careful handling to avoid damage. Dr. Vorn studied the ship's logs, piecing together the journey of the original crew. "Captain," he said, "they left messages, coordinates, and experimental notes, anticipating someone would come. Their foresight is incredible. Even after centuries, the ship remained a living record of human innovation." Arya looked at the ship, her eyes reflecting the glow of its hull. "It's more than innovation. It's human spirit, curiosity, courage, and hope. That is what carried them through the impossible. And that is what carried us to them." Mara approached, holding a tablet displaying the latest energy readings. "Captain, all systems are stable. The Horizon can now be moved safely throughout human space." "It's ready for its new mission," Arya nodded. "Good. But before that, we need to ensure the crew is fully integrated. They've waited centuries. They deserve time to learn, to recover, and to understand the world they missed." Meanwhile, the pioneers explored the station, fascinated by advances in technology, architecture, and society. They marveled at the cities floating in orbit, at interstellar transport systems, and at the knowledge that humanity had expanded far beyond the boundaries they had once known. In the midst of this, Dr. Vorn discovered something unusual. "Captain," he said, frowning at a console, "I'm detecting an incoming signal. It's faint but structured, and it's not from any known human source." Arya raised an eyebrow. "Another distress signal?" Lyra's voice confirmed the observation. "Yes, Captain. The pattern is unusual. It originates from a sector beyond current human exploration. The energy signature is unfamiliar, but it appears intentional." The pioneers gathered, curiosity evident in their eyes. Captain Leora asked, "Is this another call for help?" Arya looked at the horizon beyond the station, the stars stretching endlessly into the unknown. "Perhaps. Humanity has survived impossible odds before, and I suspect we will do it again. Prepare the Valkyrie. We may have a new mission." Despite the centuries that had separated them from the present, the Horizon's crew displayed a remarkable adaptability. They quickly learned modern technology, contributing ideas based on their own advance but previously forgotten systems. Dr. Vorn smiled as he observed the collaboration. Captain, this is incredible. Knowledge from the past combined with the present? The possibilities are endless. Humanity has grown stronger because of this connection across time. Arya felt a swell of pride. Yes, and it reminds us of a simple truth. No challenge is too great, no distance too far, and no time too long to test human courage and ingenuity. We explore, we survive, we learn, and we continue forward. As the day passed, formal ceremonies were held to commemorate the return of the Horizon. Historical records were updated, and the story of the ship and its crew spread throughout human civilization. Schools and stations studied the vessel, drawing inspiration from the perseverance of its pioneers. Later, in a quiet moment aboard the Valkyrie, Arya reflected on the journey. "We faced the impossible," she said softly, "and we succeeded. Humanity reached across centuries to save its own. That is what makes us strong." Mara nodded. "Captain, it's more than strength. It's hope, ingenuity, and the refusal to give up. That's what the Horizon represents." Arya smiled. "Yes, Mara. And that same spirit will guide us to the stars beyond. This is just the beginning. Humanity's journey never ends." As night fell over the orbiting stations, the Horizon's lights twinkled in the darkness. Its systems hummed with life, its crew exploring a world 3 centuries beyond the one they had left. Humanity had survived, and in doing so, it had proved something eternal. Even the impossible could be overcome through courage, intelligence, and unity. Then, the faint signal pulsed again, distant but clear. Another call from the unknown, waiting for someone brave enough to answer. Arya's eyes narrowed in determination. "We have heard the impossible," she said, "and now we will face the next challenge. Humanity will not stop. We will continue to explore, to learn, and to survive, no matter what awaits us." The stars stretched endlessly beyond, a canvas of infinite possibilities, and in that moment, the human spirit shone brighter than any star. The Horizon had returned, and with it, a reminder that humanity could endure, adapt, and thrive even in the face of the impossible. Captain Arya Kane stood at the bridge of the Valkyrie. Gazing at the stars, her heart steady with resolve. Humanity had conquered the impossible once again. And somewhere out there in the infinite void, the next adventure waited. The impossible had become real, and humanity's journey continued.